Arcane, the series produced by the company we begged for years to convince them to make movies or TV series. It is a series full of love, like family love, and love, like love kind of love, drama, tension, impeccable world building, and truly amazing storytelling. I know I may sound a bit too positive, but to be 100% honest with you, Arcane is an absolute masterpiece for so many different reasons. And not only that, it was extra enjoyable for those who followed League of Legends lore for a very long time. People like me, for instance. I just love it. Another thing I really love is esports. League lore, stories, characters, esports, and Arcane the TV show may seem like they are very far away from each other, but I certainly don't think so. Even though Riot can be a little bit, just a little bit, incompetent when it comes to actually balancing their game with their 200 years of collective game design experience, they sure do an amazing job when it comes to overall world building, lore, additional story content like the season cinematics, world's anthems, and their music videos, and most importantly, or the biggest one I would say, Arcane the series. So I wanted to bring these two things I really love together. League of Legends the game and the esport, and Arcane, which is the product of years of world building and incredible lore that is usually left in the background of the game. Today I'll try to compare how the characters, or I should just say champions, are portrayed in lore / Arcane versus the gameplay, and some of the most legendary plays pulled with them in the esports scene. I know for a fact this video will surely be an interesting one to say the least. So, buckle up and let's go. Whether you are someone who just watched Arcane, love the characters, but don't know anything about League the game, or if you are someone grinding solo queue every day and watching every highlight of any major international tournament, I would like to assume both of these archetypes of fans enjoy these things because they like Riot's way of storytelling and world building. Starting off strong, let's talk about Jinx. And I mean Jinx, not Powder. As a very seasoned League player who started playing almost a decade ago, it is really interesting to me how Jinx came to be one of the faces of League, and not just with or because of Arcane, but in general. I remember seeing this music video Riot made years ago, and I never would have thought that she and Vi would be the centerpieces of a Runeterra cinematic universe, so to say. Diving deeper into Jinx as a character and as a champion, I really love everything about her, honestly. I think both in the lore and in the game, she is one of the most well-designed champions ever, with a distinct identity. On the lore side, she's this kind of crazy person. Well, let's just say it and get it out of the way. She's straight up crazy, not just kind of crazy. On the gameplay side, her champion design reflects her personality perfectly. And I really don't want to go too deep and explain each of her abilities one by one, but she's essentially what we call an hyper carry. That means she's fragile and easy to get rid of if you can reach her, that is. She deals massive and consistent damage. She also has very good attack range with her rocket launcher. And yeah, Arcane fans, in case you didn't know, Jinx has two different weapons she uses in game. She has her minigun nicknamed Pow Pow and her rocket launcher called Fish Bones. Her whole shtick to maximize safety and damage at the same time, cause she really can ramp up the damage if she can stay alive during the team fights. Her rocket launcher has bigger range as I said, but slower attack speed. And it also has splash damage to targets around the one Jinx is actually hitting, which can be huge late game. Her minigun has lower range, but the good thing is Jinx can use her minigun and gain attack speed bonus stacks, and she keeps those even after switching to the rocket launcher. She has her zap thingy with her W ability, which is a long skill shot that you can use to slow and catch enemies. Her E is a bunch of grenades I guess, and she places them into the ground to root any enemies walking over them. Just like the rocket launcher and the minigun, the grenades have a nickname for them too, and they are called Flame Chompers. I honestly love all of this, by the way. Her ultimate is this. Kind of a big one, I know. But I think the ability most fitting with her lore is hands down her passive. It causes, or should I say, enables her to literally go bonkers when she starts getting kills. She gets massively ramped movement speed and attack speed, so Jinx is definitely very dangerous to teamfight against. If she gets her reset, she will just delete your whole team if you are playing against her. By the way, I just remembered. I said I didn't want to explain her abilities one by one, but that is exactly what I did. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's keep going. My initial promise with this video to you was to somehow tie in all the characters and lore in Arcane into League of Legends gameplay and eventually esports. One very memorable play I remember was years ago in the North American LCS. It was by the player named Double Lift. Oh boy, every single time I even say his name, I get so nostalgic at this point. He made this amazing pentakill play, which was a thing of beauty, and as I said, if you let Jinx get going, she is going to blow everything up, including your nexus, just like the big explosions she likes to do in Arcane. So that was Jinx from my eyes, and where I see her in my headcanon, in terms of her actual lore, gameplay design, the highs she had in esports, all that good stuff. Instead of moving to Y immediately, I wanna talk about Jayce a little bit. First off, he had some of the sickest and most hyped action scenes in Arcane, and I think the animators did an amazing job with the impact and the overall feel of that big hextech hammer. He surely is an interesting character with that hextech technology angle, and I think it is only fitting that he has one of the most unique champion designs in League as well. Besides exceptions, it is very important for a champion's identity if they are a melee champion who just bangs in the close range, or a ranged champion who technically has the advantage of range but needs to be careful because they don't do well in close quarters combat. But Jayce is both at the same time. He has two forms in the game. The first one is him with his big hammer just smashing people, bonking them away, etc. Wait, this sounded a bit weird, but you know what I mean, right? Anyway, let's continue. And the second form Jayce has is him using the hammer as a long-range energy weapon. In this form, he just throws massive energy beams, and he can even buff those beams, resulting in massive damage from like super duper far away. Because of his versatility, Jayce is mainly played in the top lane with occasional mid lane presence. One of my favorite top laners ever, Khan, made so many great plays with Jayce, I think I lost the count at this point. So to sum it up, Jayce is a very skill expressive champion, and I consider that to be at least kind of fitting with his overall vibe. I also really like how he contrasts with Viktor from a champion team standpoint, because even though we see them as buddies in Arcane, their in-game identity and lore couldn't have been any more different. Jayce is certainly one of the most quote-unquote normal or basic human-looking champs, who just happens to carry a super high-tech hextech weapon. But Viktor? Oh man, Viktor is just a straight up cyborg, or probably something even further than that. Dude just runs around, lasering champions from miles away, sets up gravity fields and even bigger laser beams that follow you. While doing so, he gains a bit of movement speed so he can keep chasing people down. So overall, Viktor is quite a unique design, like almost all the other champions featured in Arcane. Now that I think about it, champions from Piltover and Zone are mostly very unique compared to the average League champion. Someone like Garen just has a sword and runs at you. Malphite is a rock that throws rocks at you, or just straight up jumps on you. So compared to them, champions like Viktor and Jayce are quite distinctive, I would say. Right after talking about Viktor chasing people down, I immediately remembered this guy, Singed. Since we talked about two different inventors in Jayce and Viktor, you might assume that Singed is cooking up some interesting gadgets for himself as well, but that would not be a correct guess. He just has poison that he leaves on his own track while he's running away or running at you. His ultimate is him just drinking some kind of special potion, similar to the poison he has, to make himself stronger while you die to his poison. He's a very speedy champion, so you cannot easily catch him, and when he catches you, do you know what he does? He literally just flips you. That's it. So I think you can see why, and not why, I told you that Viktor, Jayce, and even Jinx are way more nuanced than your typical League champion. And I couldn't be happier with Riot progressing their already interesting designs and lore thanks to Arcane. So this has been an incredibly interesting video to make, and I hope it was at least half as interesting to watch. By the way, thank you so much for watching. I hope the new Arcane season coming out super soon turns out amazing. And who knows, maybe I'll talk about it more on this channel, probably not in this format, but maybe a bit more focused on Arcane itself without going too deep into League stuff. But yeah, I truly hope to see you next time on this channel, and until that time comes, please do not forget to take care of yourself. Bye bye.